The creator of Grand Admiral Thrawn said this about the upcoming Ahsoka show. The danger is that the screenwriters write it badly, referring to Thrawn. He's a tactician and always ahead of his enemies. In this interview, the creator of Grand Admiral Thrawn explains why he may end up being a difficult character to adapt. If you didn't know, Timothy Zahn is the author who created Thrawn in the 90s when he wrote the Heir to the Empire trilogy. Zahn explained that he wanted to create a villain that was different from any other villain in Star Wars at the time. And remember, this is the 90s, so the expanded universe was young and fresh at this point. And Zahn delivered on this in full with Grand Admiral Thrawn. Thrawn is a stark contrast of Vader. He's a military leader whose men follow him out of loyalty, something that deviates from the fear and manipulation tactics used by Vader. You can really see this contrast in the novel by Timothy Zahn called Thrawn Alliances. It takes place between seasons 2 and 3 of Rebels, and it follows Vader and Thrawn as they team up to investigate a disturbance sensed by their master, the Emperor Palpatine. In this book, there are several moments where Vader's men observe Thrawn place his trust in his own men. And even stranger to them, Thrawn gives his crew second chances when they fail. In the same interview I mentioned earlier, Zahn compared Thrawn to historical military leaders with a touch of Sherlock Holmes. His ability to see details that others don't makes him an incredible tactician who is always a step ahead of his enemies. In the Heir to the Empire novels, and his other appearances for that matter, Thrawn proves that he is a real threat to the New Republic and Rebels in the recent projects that Thrawn is in. His tactical mind makes him a different threat than the physically imposing villain like Vader or the all-powerful Emperor Palpatine. Zahn explained that he believes this is what makes him harder to write well. He said this: "The danger is that screenwriters write it badly. He is a tactician, always ahead of his enemies. Dave Filoni showed in Rebels that he understood the character, so I think everything will be fine as long as Filoni and Jon Favreau remain at the helm. And I am, of course, available to help them if needed." So even influential Star Wars creators are putting their trust in Jon and Dave when it comes to these big projects. Now, having read all 9 of Zahn's Thrawn novels, say that 10 times fast, Zahn's Thrawn's novels, and of course watching Rebels, I am incredibly excited to see Thrawn in live action. He will be an antagonist unlike any we've seen in Star Wars movies and shows, well, except for when he actually showed up in Rebels, but if he's done right, this could be the refresh we need to see in Star Wars. If you made it this far in the video and haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel for more Star Wars content. I really do my best to deliver the best content I can. I'm hoping to really grow this channel over the next year, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Now, I've mentioned the Heir to the Empire novels quite a bit, but it's important to note that they are not considered canon anymore as much as I would like. Ahsoka will not be able to recreate these stories in current canon either, but that doesn't mean we won't see some cool elements or nods to the novels that set the stage for the Star Wars expanded universe. Zahn did mention an interest in writing more stories about Thrawn, particularly during the 9-year gap between the end of Rebels and his appearance in the Ahsoka show. Whether it's novel form or on screen, let me know in the comments what stories you'd like to see featuring Thrawn. He's a fascinating villain that I am confident will be handled well in the Ahsoka show. Have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.